Gunsmith Joe, resident gunsmith down at Alpha 1 Drop Zone. I'll show you a couple of tricks here for the kit builders out there. Because you're dealing with surplus parts that were on the Italian military versions that were select fire. You have cutouts in the stock for those parts to have clearance to work in. And the trouble is when you just build a semi-only rifle, people have trouble with the bolt catch working out because it uses the original Garand type bolt catch pin, bolt release pin, and because the clearance cut right here on the original Beretta stocks is for a selector switch to fit in there. You have extra room in that. As you shoot, the recoil will sometimes push that pin forward and the bolt catch will halfway disengage and not work anymore. The quick fix for that is to get you an AR-15, M16, M4, whatever you want to call them, what configuration. They were all the same. Dust cover pin. It's on the front of the receiver, the upper receiver, and AR. And because it's longer, it will butt up against that relief cut and won't allow it to go forward. And it's the same diameter as what the Garand clip latch pin was, or bolt catch was. So you can just basically just push it right in, and it gives you that extra length so it won't work out while you're shooting it. Very quick fix, so you don't have to glass bed your stock like some people do to get more accuracy. It's actually a good thing to glass bed a stock. Tightens up your action. Of course, standard procedure for a national match rifle, an M14 style or M1A. But if you don't want to modify your original military configuration stock, that's a quick fix for your bolt latch. Some of the other parts I have laying over here just to show you the difference, and there's questions and answers nowadays. When you're building a BM-59 American style, they made these type front bands for them. They're pinned in with a solid pin or a roll pin, and you just drill it, and it's kind of a half round hole in your barrel, and your pin will retain that front band on there. Beretta's idea, because the pin has a habit of bending somewhat, and through use you have to replace it every once in a while. Beretta's idea to cure that problem was to come up with a specially milled front band that has a little C-clip type retainer on it, and that eliminated any problem of the front band working loose or bending that little roll pin or solid pin that you were holding the band on with. Somewhat complex part to make compared to this part, but it works real good, and that was Beretta's solution. Another thing you find on these kits nowadays is because the clip charger guide was permanently welded or fixed to the receiver, and the D-milled receivers are whether you get that section or not, I don't know, but it's missing. So you'll see a lot of the kits or the builds nowadays, they don't have the clip charger guide. This could be cast or milled out today without any problem in a good machine shop. So far, nobody's done it. We've got a few left from the 80s, so I had one I could show you. The difference between the BM-59 American and the Italian model, the major difference is the clip bullet, the bullet guide, and it also has your op rod spring guide that fits in there, and you use a regular Garand pin, so you don't have to mill out your receiver to use a Beretta type part. These parts could be readily made today without any problem. That was a major difference between the American version and the Italian version. Probably shouldn't do that. Various configurations of flash hiders they made. This was one version. You'll see these on some of the old guns where they didn't have them heat treated, and when you shot them, they bell out a little bit and kind of give a funny look to your, your American BM-59, just because they didn't heat treat some of them, and the pressure of the bullet exiting the barrel would bell them out a little bit. And the same thing on the bolts. Some of the Gunsmith made ones and some of the National Ordnance stuff, they didn't mill the ridges off the bolt so it would pass easily through the original feed lips. See, this is too big, it kind of hangs up on the feed lips. Their solution was just to grind down the lips of the magazine, and that way a ground bolt would ride through it without hanging up. If you have a Beretta bolt, they're milled to where it's no ridge on that spline right there, and so it feed through your regular mag. It also lightens the bolt up a little bit, so the cycle rate would change a little bit. Not much, but a little bit. And of course the Beretta extractor had to be modified too, because the Grand extractor hung down too far into the groove there, and it would catch on the magazine lips, so the Beretta would just grind that much of the extractor off so it wouldn't catch on the magazine lips. Some of the earlier American versions, of course you've seen tanker versions of the Grand, they had a short handguard. So you could use your regular Grand front band, and it took up, that gap right there, and where your op rod is exposed. You'll see that on some of the early aftermarket Berettas, commercially made Berettas. Most of the ones that were being made in the late 70s into the 80s eliminated that part and just went with this type of front band. There's controversy on which is better, which looks better, and which works better. They were both, while this can crack and break in hard usage, if you glass bed the rear band and the front band on it, it eliminates all the breakage problem. Another thing on the handguards on the Beretta, they were rounded. And if you buy a handguard from Sarco or any parts company that the Beretta made, they'll be rounded. They won't have that extra tit on there, and it has to be rounded to fit into that clearance. See how it doesn't fit too good? It has to be rounded a little bit more semicircle. Basically, that's the difference between the Beretta parts and the later manufactured parts for the commercial market on the BM-59As or the American version. There's been some questions on websites about that, and I could get into more detail on some of this stuff, but right now we'll just give you an overview and give you the quick fix for your bolt stop or clip latch pin working out on unglass bedded original Beretta stock. It can be frustrating when you're shooting and when your clip latch comes out and jams up on you, and you think it's a fault of the design of the rifle, when it's just you're dealing with parts that were made for select fire guns, and you're turning into semi-auto, and you have mill cuts in the stock that you don't have on an original Grand stock. A lot of the stocks that were sold during the 60s for BM-59 kit builders, they were just modified Grand stocks that didn't have any cuts in them for the full auto parts, and they merely just opened it up in front here so you could get your magazine in and out, because it has to, it's a rock, you have to rock it in like an FN or you know, commercial model Mini 14 or whatever. You put the front end first, you rock it back and lock the back end in. And they were merely grand stocks cut out, so you get the magazine out. Excuse me. And the next segment, I'll break a couple of these down and show you more in detail and more close-ups of the internal differences. And of course, if you're going to use a combination of Gram parts and Beretta parts to build something like this, this will help you, you know, if you don't have any prior experience, this will help you kind of make it easier.